Many people think that all small towns in Germany look the same, but this is not true. There is a huge difference between cities in the north of Germany and the south. In the east, or for example, small cities on the islands of the North and Baltic Seas. They all differ in architecture, urban planning, and even the mood that comes from the people living there. Of course, an experienced tourist can have a trained eye and immediately identify the region just by looking at a few pictures. I mean, small towns have a lot in common, but still so many differences. I have always said that the authenticity of a country can be experienced outside of big cities, because only there you can enjoy the quiet life of locals, admire old small houses, or the beauty of Gothic churches. Today's video is not about the north of South of Germany, because this beautiful city, with small streets, fluffy cats, and an extraordinary history, is located right in the middle of the country. Heilbad Heiligenstadt, a city in the heart of Germany. If you think that I choose this city for my video just because I have nothing to do, you are deeply mistaken. I mentioned the wonderful history of this city for a reason. This city is magical, and its magic touched each of you when you were still little children. The fact is that this city is included in the list of cities on the German fairy tale route. The famous Brothers Grimm, who wrote everyone's favorite fairy tales like Little Red Riding Hood, Snow White, Cinderella, and many others, were inspired by Heilbad Heiligenstadt to write their works 200 years ago. In fact, the German route of fairy tales begins in the German city of Hanau and leads all the way to the north of Germany, right to the city of Bremen. But still, Heilbad Heiligenstadt is included in this list, and if we can trust the history, the Brothers Grimm came here many times to admire the landscapes around the city. The last time when both brothers came here was on March 14, 1841. Heilbad Heiligenstadt was first mentioned in 973, and it took 250 years for it to achieve the city status. In the years that followed, the people of Heiligenstadt lived through a rich and often tragic history. The city almost completely burns down twice. The flames raged in 1333 and 1739, and the plague raged in the years between. Fortunately, all of these troubles didn't break the spirit of the townspeople. It took them a long time, but in the end, the city was completely rebuilt. This city has a wonderful history, and I'm sure that if you want to plunge into the atmosphere of medieval nights, then you should definitely visit the City Museum, which is located in the very heart of the city. And if not, then I did it for you. Overall, the museum is quite interesting. Here you can see old books, crowns, gold jewelry, paintings, documents, and much more. There are especially a lot of all sorts of religious things here. And this is not surprising because the name of the city literally translates as Holy City. I love history, and I think that this place deserves to have a museum. And no, not because it's right in the middle of the city, not because it's large and a lot of things can fit here, but because this building is as old as what is located here. Yes, unfortunately, I don't know how many years the floor hasn't been changed here, but the creaking suggests that it's been many decades. But the ceiling is in good condition. I would even say wonderful. For about half an hour, I stood and admired it as if it were the main thing in this museum. But just look at this. I mean, unfortunately, they don't do this anymore today. Hello. As I already said, there are beautiful landscapes around the city. At first, the brothers Grimm admired them. Then Theodor Sturm admired when in 1856 he looked at Heiligenstadt from the Teufelskanzel and said, I don't know that I have ever been so touched by the magical beauty of any place on earth. And you know what? I can agree with him, because now I'm admiring these landscapes and feel the same thing. The higher up the mountain you climb, the denser the forest will become. On your way, you can find hundreds of types of plants, as well as old towers that were previously used to detect robbers who could attack the city. One of the most important places for tourists who visit Heilbad Heiligenstadt should be the local observatory. There is a huge cross that glows at night and can be seen from anywhere in the city. Well, what can I say? This is another thing that justifies the name of the city. Back to the city, you can also find many parks here. The largest of them is located in the old part of the city. There is a crackling waterfall from which a cooling breeze is coming. In my opinion, that's the best place during the summer. This city is very relaxing. There are no noisy cars, people always rushing somewhere, huge buildings filled with offices, or huge stores that attract a huge number of customers. For the most part, this city has remained the same as it was during the time of Brothers Grimm. Small, cute, with gingerbread houses, grandmothers who get up early in the morning to buy fresh bread in local bakeries, and nice people caring for their gardens. I really hope that such places will be able to keep their authenticity, that people will continue to try to preserve the history and beauty of medieval cities, and that even in 100 years, people from all over the world will come here and admire the beauty of Heilbad Heiligenstadt, a city in the heart of Germany.